Call the City Council to order at 8 p.m. on Monday, February 12th, 2024. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We have 18 items on this evening's agenda, and I will ask the City Clerk to please read agenda item number 1.
Minutes of the City Council meeting, January 22nd, 2024.
Councilor Brown.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to accept and place on file the minutes.
Motion made and seconded to accept and place on file the minutes. Are there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? The minutes are filed 11-0. Agenda item number 2.
Now is the time for the public hearing on the application from Viewpoint Sign and Awning on behalf of Best Western Royal Plaza Hotel for a replacement of a freestanding EMC sign at 181 Boston Post Road West, order number 23-100, 9035.
Okay, this public hearing we've taken up in 4 stages. The first being the public speaking in favor. Second, questions from the public. Third, public speaking in opposition. And fourth, questions from the City Council. So we'll open the first part of the public hearing with the public speaking in favor, starting with the applicant. I'll invite you to come on up. Please state your name and address for the record.
Good evening. My name is Scott Spalding. I'm with Viewpoint Sign and Awning, 35 Lyman Street, Northborough, Massachusetts. Thanks,
Scott. You want to tell us what you got before us?
Best Western has an existing EMC that was approved, I think, around 23, 24 years ago, right around when I started with Viewpoint. Can't believe it's been that long. We leave it as it is, but unfortunately we can't get the parts anymore to repair it. And currently it's a monochrome EMC, and we just want to replace what's there with a new one that would be full color. That's all you can really purchase these days. You can't purchase monochrome anymore, but we just want to replace what's there. And that's what we're proposing to do. We assume that there are moratoriums on changing, flashing, that type of thing, that we'll look to the board to make the recommendations and follow strictly whatever they'd like us to do.
Okay. Anything else?
No, that's it, sir. It's pretty simple.
Thank you, Scott. Any other members of the public speak in favor? You might want to just stay up here, Scott, just in case folks have questions. Thanks. Any other members of the public speak in favor? Any other members of the public speak in favor? Hearing none, I close that portion of the public hearing. Any questions from the public? Any questions from the public? Any questions from the public? Hearing none, I close that portion of the public hearing. Public speaking in opposition. Any members of the public speaking in opposition? Members of the public speaking in opposition. Hearing none, I close that portion of the public hearing. Questions from the city councilors? Councilors. Councilor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President. So, as you indicated, this sign was approved well before the City Council approved a EMC sign ordinance, which was done in 2014. So in that ordinance, there is a limit on the size of the sign. It's 24 square feet. I believe the current sign is 70 square feet. So I need to check with legal to find out if, in fact, because we now have an actual ordinance in place versus nothing when that was installed, if this is considered a pre-existing and you can just replace it, or if you in fact have to meet the code. So you might want to come prepared when this is taken up at Urban Affairs, hopefully next week, with the ability to downsize the sign.
Okay. I don't know, 24 square feet with their setback and where it is, if that's an option they want to pursue, but that's up to them.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the way the sign's made with its cabinet will take some rigging to do that, but they were just hoping to, like I said, if we had parts, we'd just fix it and leave it.
Okay, because that's, I know I tried to talk to the building department, but wasn't able to get anybody today. So I haven't pursued it very far. We can talk about it more once I get some answers from building department and legal and go from there.
And how would that communication come back to us?
I would either come from the building department, who has your information, I guess, because I don't have anything other than the forms that were filled out, which I don't know has, I don't think it has any, it has a phone number for Viewpoint, but that's about it.
I'm just curious. And then there's another meeting?
There's another part of this. It's been referred to Urban Affairs, which is a subcommittee of the full committee, so we would meet and discuss whether we would approve recommending for the full body to...
But we're not to be present at that meeting?
Yes, you would be present at that
Would
meeting. Yes. So at this point, it is not clear when that is, so we will be communicating to make sure that when it is set up.
That's what I was really
Somebody mentioned maybe Wednesday, piggybacking on another meeting, but I need to confirm with the members of the committee that they can make that and confirm with you that you would be able to be here.
Okay.
So if you
This
have a
Wednesday? I'm sorry.
card...
No, it would be next Wednesday, correct?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
There needs to be notice, so it can't happen that quickly. If you have a business card that you could leave,
I don't have one with me. I don't. But
okay. There was a phone number on here, though,
The
that,
clerk has all the contact information, Councilor Roby. So-
okay, thank you.
So bottom line is, this is a public hearing, so the public gets to hear what the project is. You will then go to Urban Affairs and then actually discuss in details in front of Urban Affairs the size of the sign, and hopefully at that point in time, we'll have information from the building department to make sure either you're pre-existing and non-conforming and you're good to go, or if something has to change. But we'll provide that to you at that point. Okay, any other questions from the councilors? Any other questions from the councilors? Questions from the councilors? Hearing none, I close that portion of the public hearing and the entire public hearing, and this is in Urban Affairs.
thank you very much.
Agenda item number 3.
Communication from Michael Kennedy on behalf of Kennedy's Restaurant and Market regarding a request to withdraw without prejudice the application for installation of a freestanding EMC sign at 247 Maple Street, order number 24-100, 9036.
Councilor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to the request to withdraw without prejudice the sign at Kennedy's Market.
What, you want to read the, you say read it or just approve?
No, I said move to approve the request to withdraw.
Motion made second to approve without prejudice the request to withdraw the sign application from Kennedy's Market. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? It is approved without prejudice, 11-0. Agenda item number 4.
Now it's time for the public hearing on the application for Barlow Signs on behalf of Kennedy's Restaurant and Market for installation of a freestanding EMC sign at 247 Maple Street, order number 23-100, 9036.
Councilor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to accept and place on file.
Motion is made and second to accept and place on file since they've just withdrawn the need for a public hearing. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, of those in favor? Opposed? It is filed, 11-0. Agenda item number 5.
Communication from the mayor regarding mid-year transfer requests totaling $1,202,100 from various departments for fiscal year '24, which moves funds from and to accounts as outlined in the transfer sheets.
Councilor Irish.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to refer to the Finance Committee, please.
Motion made and second, refer to the Finance Committee. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, of those in favor? Opposed? It's going to Finance, 11-0. Agenda item number 6.
Communication from the mayor regarding the establishment of the opioid settlement special revenue fund and a transfer request in the amount of $162,202.95 from free cash to the opioid settlement special revenue fund.
Councilor Irish.
Thank you, Mr. President. Motion to refer to the Finance Committee.
Motion is made and second, refer to the Finance Committee. Is there any discussion on the motion? Councilor Oram.
Thank you, Mr. President. I thank the mayor for bringing this down to us. It looked like it was in our general account for a little bit, the money that is meant for opioid overdose abuse and so forth and disorder. So I look forward to speaking with the mayor and finance to learn more about what we're planning to spend the money on. I would not want to see this money spent on anything but opioid use disorder. So with that said, I'll wait for finance, but I thank him for catching this and getting it out of the general fund, and I do support this being in a special fund. Thank you.
Any other discussion on the motion, refer to Finance? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? It's going to Finance, 11-0. Agenda item number 7.
Communication from the mayor regarding grant acceptance in the amount of $20,150 from the Massachusetts Emergency Management Agency awarded to the Marlborough Emergency Management Agency to be used to fund the acquisition of additional equipment and supplies.
Councilor Irish.
Thank you, Mr. President. Motion to approve the grant, please.
Motion's made and seconded to approve the grant. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? The grant is approved, 11-0. Agenda item number 8.
Communication from the mayor regarding proposed ordinance amendments to the City Code, Chapter 125, Personnel, Section 5, Preparation of Classification Descriptions, and to Chapter 125, Personnel, Section 6, Salary Schedule, to create a new position of Communications and Special Projects Director, in addition to a transfer request in the amount of $25,900 to fund the position for the remainder of fiscal year '24.
Councilor Irish.
Thank you, Mr. President. Motion to refer to the Finance Committee.
Motion made and seconded, refer to the Finance Committee. Any discussion on the motion? Councilor Doucette.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I think the addition of this role within the city personnel department or for the mayor's office is actually bringing the office into the 21st century, and I applaud the proposal to get someone like this in place to address this type of stuff. It's long overdue. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Doucette. Anyone else? On the motion, refer to Finance. All those in favor? Opposed? It's going to Finance, 11-0. Agenda item number 9.
Communication from the mayor regarding notification of extension of temporary appointment pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 41, Section 61A, of David Williams as interim comptroller treasurer for an additional 60-day term to expire on April 2nd, 2024.
Councilor Navin.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to accept and place on file the communication from the mayor.
Motion is made and seconded to accept and place on file the communication from the mayor. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Communication is filed, 11-0. Agenda item number 10.
Communication from the mayor regarding reappointments of Sean Fay, Barbara Fenby, and Christopher Russ to the planning board for 5-year terms respectively to expire on February 5th, 2029.
Councilor Navin.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to refer to the Personnel Committee.
Motion made and seconded, refer to the Personnel Committee. Any discussion on the motion? Councilor Doucette.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I'm glad to see these folks going up for putting back onto the reappointment onto the board. I'm concerned that all 3 of them are dropping on the same day at the other end. So it'd be interesting if it could be staggered or something. That's my only concern. That's all. Being on the same position at church, that can be a real pain.
Thank you, Councilor Doucette. On the motion, refer to the Personnel Committee. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? It's going to Personnel, 11-0. Agenda item number 11.
Communication from City Solicitor Jason Grossfield regarding the request for executive session, to discuss litigation strategy relative to JW Capital Partners LLC and Marlborough TOTG LLC versus the City of Marlborough.
Councilor Preciado.
Thank you, Mr. President. Based on the proximity to the location, it makes me an abutter, and I'm going to have to recuse myself from this.
Thank you, Councilor Preciado. We'll let the record reflect he'll be abstaining from participating. Councilor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to move this to the end of the agenda, and when it's taken up, it will be announced whether we go into open session or not.
Motion is made and seconded to move this item to the end of our agenda. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? It's going to the end of the agenda. Vote is 10-0 with 1 abstention. Agenda item number 12.
Communication from City Clerk Steve Kerrigan regarding the presidential primary election call.
Councilor Brown.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to please have the city clerk read the communication and then accept and place on file the communication.
Motion's made and seconded, accept and place on file the communication, and I'll let the clerk read the communication.
The city clerk being is hereby authorized and directed to warn and notify the voters of the 7 wards and 14 precincts of the City of Marlborough, duly qualified to vote in primaries, to assemble in their respective polling places as designated by the City Council as follows. Ward 1, Precinct 1 and 2, the Francis J. Kane School, 520 Farm Road. Ward 2, Precinct 1 and 2, Francis J. Kane School, 520 Farm Road. Ward 3, Precinct 1, Senior Center, 40 New Street. Ward 3, Precinct 2, the Raymond J. Richer School, 80 Foley Road. Ward 4, Precincts 1 and 2, the Senior Center at 40 New Street. Ward 5, Precincts 1 and 2, at the Masonic Lodge, 8 Newton Street. Ward 6, Precinct 1 and 2, at the First Lieutenant Charles W. Whitcomb School, 25 Union Street. Ward 7, Precinct 1 and 2, at the Hildreth School at 85 Solwyn Street. On Tuesday, March 5th, 2024, then and there, for the purpose of casting their votes in the presidential primary for candidates of political parties for the following offices: Presidential preference for this Commonwealth. State Committeeman for the Middlesex and Worcester Senate District. State Committee Woman for the Middlesex and Worcester Senate District. Ward committees for the City of Marlborough. It is further ordered that the polling places legally designated by the City Council be opened at 7 o'clock in the forenoon and be closed at 8 o'clock in the evening. The City Clerk be and is hereby authorized to cause notice to be given by publication of this order in a local newspaper and by posting a copy of the same in a conspicuous place in the office of the City Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Any further discussion to accept and place on file the communication for the election? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? The election call is filed 11-0. Agenda item number 13.
Communication from City Clerk Stephen Kerrigan regarding in-person early voting for the presidential primary.
Councilor Brown.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to please ask the city clerk to read the communication and then move to accept and place on file the communication.
Motion's made and seconded to accept and place on file, and we will please ask the city clerk to read the communication.
Honorable President Ossian and Councilors, as part of the Votes Act passed in 2022, cities and towns are required to have in-person early voting for 1 week prior to the presidential primary. This year, the presidential primary will be held on Tuesday, March 5th, 2024. In-person early voting will take place at City Hall, 140 Main Street, on the dates and times listed below. Saturday, February 24th from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Sunday, February 25th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Monday, February 26th from 8:30 a.m. to 7 p.m. Tuesday, February 27th from 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Wednesday, February 28th from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Thursday, February 29th from 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Friday, March 1st, 2024 from 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. We continue to see great interest in early voting here in Marlborough, and we encourage the residents of Marlborough to exercise their right to vote either by mail, in person, or on election day. As an additional reminder, the last day to register to vote or change your political party for the presidential primary is Saturday, February 24th, 2024. The City Clerk's office will be open from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. to assist voters.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk.
Thank you.
Councilor Orem.
Well, I would like to rise and thank our city clerk and his department for allowing the early voting to happen. And it seems like it's always been seamless because I've been in there for early voting myself. You know, if you have a commitment on voting day, this is a great opportunity. So I want to thank the clerk and his department for their efforts in making sure our voters in Marlborough can get out and vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Orem. Any other discussion on the motion to accept and place on file the communication? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? The communication is filed 11-0. Agenda item 14.
Communications from Karen Paquin of the Conservation Commission and James Confrey of the Council on Aging regarding notification of resignation as a member of their respective board.
Councilor Navin.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to accept and place on file.
Motion made and seconded to accept and place on file the communications. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Communication is filed 11-0. Agenda item 15.
Petition from Massachusetts Electric and Verizon New England to install one joint-owned pole at 219 Forest Street, beginning at a point approximately 972 feet east of the center line of the intersection of Teller Street, and install 45 feet of C12 midspan poles 25 and 26, and install a feeder monitor on a midspan pole 25-50.
Councilor Vital.
Mr. President, I'd like to recluse myself. My employer is one of the abutters.
Understand, we'll let the record reflect that Councilor Vital will be recusing himself from participating in this item.
Yes, sir.
Councilor Landers.
Thank you, Mr. President.
You can sit down. You don't have to get up. You don't have to stand up if it hurts.
I must. Okay, well, I'll sit down. No, a motion to refer to Public Service Committee and also to set the date for public hearing.
Motion made and seconded to refer this item to the Public Services Committee, and we'll set a public hearing for Monday, February 26th. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? It's going to Public Service with a public hearing on February 26th. The vote is 10-0 with 1 abstention. Agenda item 16.
Application for renewal of a taxi livery license from Katsunura Tanaka, DBA Global Limousine and Tour Services at 17 Eager Court.
Councilor Landers.
Thank you again. Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to approve this appointment based on the fact that we received a query from the chief already, and he's been down in Eager Court, individual, for a couple years now. So a motion to approve this appointment.
Motion made and seconded to approve the taxi license. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Taxi license approved, 11-0. Agenda item 17.
Minutes of boards, commissions, and committees.
Mr. President?
Councilor Doucette.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Motion to accept and place on file the minutes of the boards, commissions, and committees.
Motion made and seconded, accept and place on file all the minutes. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? The minutes are filed, 11-0. 18.
Claims.
Councilor Brown.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to send the claims to legal, please.
Motion made and seconded to send the claims to the legal department. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? It's going to a legal, 11-0. Reports of committees. Who wants to go first? I'll let Councilor Navin go first.
Thank you, Mr. President. The City Council Personnel Committee met on January 29th, 2024. We convened at 7:30 p.m. The members of the committee were present, myself, Councilor Brown, and Councilor Doucette, and non-voting members present were Councilors Vito, Ficillo, Orem, Roby, and Irish. Also present was Mayor Dumas and the Conservation Commission Chair, Ed Clancy. We had one agenda item. It was order number 24-100-9071, communication from the mayor appointing with appointment to the Conservation Commission for Elizabeth Austin for a 2-year term, which would expire on May 5th, 2026. We read the letter from the mayor, and Ms. Austin answered questions from the councilors and explained her interest in joining the commission. The chair of the Conservation Commission, Ed Clancy, was there, and he highly endorsed Elizabeth's appointment, indicating she will be a perfect fit as a new member of the commission. So on a motion by Councilor Brown, seconded by the chair, the Personnel Committee recommends the approval of the appointment of Elizabeth Austin to the Conservation Commission for the 2-year term, which will expire on May 5th, 2026. The vote was 3-0. Motion was made and seconded to adjourn, and we did so at 7:50 p.m.
Thank you, Councilor Navin. Councilor Irish.
Thank you, Mr. President. Finance Committee met on January 29, 2024. We had 4 items on the agenda that evening. First item was order number 24-100-9067, communication from Mayor Dumas with transfer in the amount of $40,000, which moves funds from free cash to IT equipment for website upgrade and redesign project. Chair Irish read the letter from the mayor addressing the transfer. Mayor Dumas explained the updates to the website and asked for suspension of the rules to approve the transfer on February 12th. On a motion by Councilor Brown, seconded by the chair, the Finance Committee recommended approval of the transfer under suspension of the rules on February 12, 2024. Vote carried 5-0. Next item was order number 24-100-9068, communication from Mayor Dumas with a transfer in the amount of $100,000 from Public Educational and Government Access Channel PEG Fund to fund the WMCT-TV operations. Chair Irish read the letter from the mayor into record. On a motion by Councilor Brown, seconded by the chair, the Finance Committee recommended approval of the transfer. Vote carried 5-0. Next item was order number 24-100-9070, communication from Mayor Dumas with a request to increase the spending limit for Public Safety Revolving Fund from $120,000 to $143,000 for the remainder of FY 2024. Chair Irish read the letter from the mayor into the record. Police Chief Georgie and Fire Chief Breen support the increase in spending limit for the revolving fund. The funds are from the annual dispatch fees from Patriot Ambulance. On a motion by Councilor Orem, seconded by the chair, the Finance Committee recommended approval of the increase in the spending limit for the Public Safety Revolving Fund from $120,000 to $143,000. The vote carried 5-0. Last item on the agenda that evening was order number 24-100-9072, communication from Mayor Dumas with the proposed amendment to the City Code, Chapter 125, Personnel, Section 6, salary schedule relative to positions at the library, public facilities, and the proposed job description pursuant to Chapter 125, Personnel, Section 5, preparation of classification descriptions for the new positions in the public library, public facilities department. Chair Irish read the letter from Mayor Dumas. On a motion by Councilor Brown, seconded by the chair, the Finance Committee recommended approval of the ordinance and job description as submitted. The vote carried 5-0. Meeting adjourned at 7:30 p.m. And that's the end of my report, Mr. President. I will be asking for one suspension this evening for order number 24-100-9067, please.
The chair has asked for suspension of the rules for order number 9067, which is the $40,000 transfer for this upgrade to the city website. All those in favor of the suspension? Opposed? Suspension carries 11-0. Councilor Irish.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move the recommendation of committee is to approve the transfer in the amount of $40,000, which moves funds from free cash to IT equipment for the website upgrade and redesign project, please.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the transfer to upgrade the city website with $40,000 from free cash. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? The transfer carries 11-0. Are there any other reports of committees? Seeing none, we'll go on to our last item, which will be agenda item number 11. Huh? Yeah. Well, you got to we'll read the agenda item again.
Communication from City Solicitor Jason Grossfield regarding request for executive session to discuss litigation strategy relative to JW Capital Partners LLC and Marlborough TOTG LLC versus the City of Marlborough.
We'll let the record reflect that Councilor Preciado will not be participating. He's abstaining from this due to a potential conflict of interest. Councilor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that we go into executive session per the order that the clerk will read, and we will not come back into open session when we're finished.
The motion's been made and seconded to go into executive session. We will not reconvene. I'll have the clerk please read the order.
Move that the Marlborough City Council meet in executive session under Purpose 3 of the Open Meeting Law, Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to litigation, if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the litigating position of the public body regarding the pending matter, JW Capital Partners LLC and Marlborough TOTG LLC versus the City of Marlborough. As the Chair hereby declares that discussion in an open session may have a detrimental effect on the City and the City Council's litigating position. The City Council will not reconvene in open session after the executive session.
Okay, so there's been a motion made and seconded to go into executive session. Is there any discussion? If not, I will ask the clerk to call the roll, and reminder, we will not reconvene.
Councilor Irish.
Yes.
Councilor Brown.
Yes.
Councilor Doucette.
Yes.
Councilor Oram.
Yes.
Councilor Navin.
Yes.
Councilor Vital.
Yes.
Councilor Landers. Councilor Ossing.
Yes.
Councilor Preciado is abstaining. Councilor Pucillo.
Yes.
Councilor Roby.
Yes.
10 yea, 1 abstention, sir.
The motion to go into executive session approves by a vote of 10 in favor with 1 abstention. We will now go into executive session. I will ask the cable folks to please shut down the equipment and folks to leave the chamber. With that, we are done for this evening. Thank you very much. Have a great evening.